A woman screamed in staccato bursts. The eerie sound ricocheted off trunks of gum trees, ghostly yet grand in the moonlight, and stirred sentinel owls among the branches. The rhythm of hoo, hoo, hoo increased as the owls spread their alarm. The fluorocarbon strand under the pads of Jess's fingers quivered. She tensed and peered into the shadows. The line beneath her fingers had stilled by the time the shrieks resumed. These longer cries were answered in the distance somewhere to her left. Jess tilted her head, closing her eyes to concentrate. Over the years, the mating calls of red foxes and human screams seemed to merge. Likewise, pops that could be gunshots were waved off as backfires, while windows broke and car panels dented, yet were just accidents. Black eyes and broken teeth were harder to ignore. But self-preservation, fear, or apathy were as debilitating and pervasive in this town as arthritis in old bones. The lucky and strong moved away and soon ceased fighting for those left behind. The rest didn't have choices, opportunities, or strength to escape, and dragged the ball and chain of financial dependency, constraints of family, or jobs. Jess's rod jolted as the line tugged under her fingertips again. She opened her eyes and focused on the float 10 metres in front. It bobbed, once, twice, then submerged. She jerked the rod upwards. The human/fox screams fused with thrashes of the hooked fish. Jess landed her catch, wondering what she'd do if she knew the shrieks were human. She eyed the pretty trout. It'd be a good feed. Then she thwacked its head with her metal donger and threw it into the bucket. It splattered her with blood and water as it lashed around. When the trout's death throes ended, she noticed the shrieks had also stopped, and even the owls had silenced. That seemed scarier than ever, but not as chilling as the realisation that Jess had equal chances of leaving town and being able to defend another person. None. The truth depressed her, so she didn't replenish her hook, but sat on her favourite log, staring ahead. Gradually, the sun and moon tagged, and Jess roused from her trance, stretching the stiffness from her body. She gathered her fishing gear and passed the ranger as she headed for home. A lifted chin and small quirk of the corners of their mouths accompanied her "morning" and his reply "g'day." The ranger didn't check her catch, but eyed the stick in her right hand, as he did most days. He was an advocate of users taking everything they brought into the park and nothing more. His disapproval of her habitual removal of a long stick was clear. But he also knew she wasn't one of the bad ones, which was probably why he let her get away with it. When Jess reached the front door to the cottage, she tossed the branch over the balustrade onto the growing heap. The smack and rasp of sticks as the stack wrestled grated on her nerves. The branches made good kindling, but even during the last cold snap, she'd shunned the pile unless desperate, then handled it like a contagion. That day followed her usual routine, most of it sleeping when people normally worked. And at 8 in the evening, she pulled her van into the driveway of a factory in darkness, to work when most others played. A minute later, Jess unbolted the padlock to the roller door from inside. A chunky chain ground on the wheel as she manually hoisted the shutter. Metal scraped and banged, but the sound wasn't as jarring as the sticks hitting the pile each morning. Jess read the note on the clipboard, hanging above the main light switch, then loaded up. But just as she pushed a drum of contact adhesive into place, a numbness struck her from toes to chest.